Hello and welcome to Volume 2 of Grant-o-nese Cooking. In this episode I'm going to teach you how to cook delicious Four Seasons Grant-o-nese roast pork. With the winter months coming upon you, you've got to prepare and get ready to be warmed up in the belly. For the ingredients for this lesson, what you need are at least 4 different herbs or spices. I've chosen paprika, basil, rosemary and some ginger, plus some bay leaves, plus a little bit of honey, half a cup of water and a nice slab of pork. The first thing we're going to do is to get the actual pan ready. Now I put the oven onto about 250 Celsius, warming that up for about maybe 20 minutes beforehand, lining this dish with some silver foil. Now there's a trick to this. First we'll cook it halfway through with the silver foil just as a base. Then for the second half of the cooking of the pork, we'll put the silver foil on top of it also, and we'll bake everything into the silver foil. And keep all the flavours inside, keep the juices rolling around and all those flavours trapped inside that beautiful encapsulation of pig meat. Now to prepare the base, I simply get half a cup of water and some honey. Squirt in a good dollop of honey. Once it comes out, there we go, some nice honey, and give it a quick mix in the water. I'm actually using warm water so it melts a little bit, and then pouring the water in just as a base for the pork, just to give it a little bit of juices, a little bit of juice to infuse through as it bakes. So you might ask yourself, Grant, what's so hard about cooking pork? Actually, not much really, but I'm going to show you a way to put some beautiful flavours into this pork and to make your guests begging to come back for more luscious meat activity. So what I'm going to do first to start off cooking pork is to get a sharp knife and to make 4 distinct cuts in the pork. Basically, traditionally speaking, one for each major season of the year. Now we've got 4 cuts into the pork, 4 distinct areas of the pork. What we do is we put a different herb or spice into each of the cuts. So I'll start with paprika. Put a little bit of paprika in your hand. Find which one of 4 cuts that you want to infuse it with. Scatter it in there. Get your fingers deep into the cut and rub it in really, really deeply. We want the flavour of this spice to really work itself into the meat. Next, I'm using some basil. So I'm going to get some basil, put it into the next cut, and you'll start seeing that there will be a contrast of flavours here which will cook through the actual pork. An explosion of food fun into your guests' mouths. Next, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of rosemary. Rub it into this one. And then in the final cut, I'm going to use a little bit of ginger. One of my favourite flavours is a little bit of ginger. And again, one secret to Grant-o-nese cooking is to treat the meat like you would treat your partner, your lover. And it is to get very hands-on and very tangible. Don't be shy of actually touching the meat and, in a sense, making chef-like love to this meat. You've got to show it a lot of love, a lot of care, and a lot of affection to actually get the flavours through. So once you've prepped your meat and got some of the flavours into it, you want to put it quickly into the pan and quickly into the oven to actually cook. You want to seal those flavours into the meat. First, I'll put some bay leaves into the dish, just a couple of bay leaves, just to add a little bit more flavour to the water and the honey. Carefully put the meat in there and simply slide it into the oven. And in the first instance, let it cook for maybe about 30 minutes and then check it again. I've just gotten the pork out of the oven and look at how beautiful and crispy the skin is already, only after about 30 minutes of cooking. You can also see how the flavours are starting to work their way through the meat. So what I'm going to do next is give it another 20 to 30 minutes, but this time wrapped up in foil, so we trap all those delicious flavours inside more, and it'll be one of the most heavenly pieces of meat you've ever tasted. So after about another 40 minutes of cooking, what we have is this beautiful, flavoursome piece of pork like you've never tasted in your life. Slice it up into thin slices, put it with some vegetables, maybe some rice, like a flatbed of rice, and some corn or some beans or anything that you want really. There's no rules in Grant-o-nese cooking, and it's going to be one of the most beautiful, wintersome, heartful meals your stomach has ever tasted. Believe you me, folks, you cook this for your partner and they will be yours for life. Until next time.